Hey friends, I hope that you guys have really enjoyed talking about all the different types of folklore that we've looked at the last couple of weeks. This week, we're going to look at a certain genre called legends. Legends are a story that have been passed down from generation to generation that are often based on true facts. So these are stories that you've heard, like Robin Hood, that take a little bit of information that has some truth to it and they make it into a more interesting story. So, we're going to look at a couple of different things that make a legend a legend. So, the first little piece that we're going to look at is the characters. So, the characters that are going to be in a story that's a legend are going to be everyday people. These characters might have a special power, they might not. They're often going to be based on a cultural hero. So, someone that has helped people in a certain culture, or someone that has a means to help out their type of people in that area. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the setting, so where it takes place. Often a legend is going to take place in some type of natural setting, and you're going to hear the words long ago linked to that story. So they're going to try to link you to a historical time frame or a historical event that took place in the past. And the event that takes place is going to be a mix of fact and fiction. So some things are going to be true, some things about the story are not going to be true. The problem in a legend is going to be one that the main character is going to struggle to overcome several times. They're going to have to use their brain or their strength to get past the struggle. And so many times in a legend, a character has to try over and over and over again to solve the problems. They're going to face that problem more than one time before that problem is fixed. And the ending, oftentimes in a legend, is going to explain where something comes from or how it began. They're going to focus on that main character's accomplishments and what they did to make something happen. And most of the time, if not all the time, there's going to be a moral or a lesson that you're going to learn in the legend. I hope you guys have recognized that in all of these things that we've talked about, fairy tales, tall tales, and now legends, that there's always something to be learned from the story that you're listening to. Most of the time when an author writes a story, they write it for a purpose. So I want you to keep that in mind anytime you're reading a book, that there's probably going to be some kind of lesson or something that the author wants you to learn from them. And some other things that you need to know about legends is that a legend is often passed down from generation to generation orally. So that means that it's going to be a story that your great, great, great grandpa told to their child, and then he told it to their child, and then they told it to your dad, and then your dad told it to you. And so it's going to be passed down from generation to generation. And there's going to be a lot of repetition in the story. So things are going to happen more than one time. And so those are a few things, kind of walk you down the story setting of a legend with our characters, our setting, our problem, and our ending of a legend. So let's move on to our next slide. This just talks about how the legends typically have a historical or event. If you see the picture, I bet some of you guys may have seen the movie The Sword in the Stone. So that's another legend. King Arthur, that's another legend. So those stories that are so fun and they seem like they are probably true, they just have a little bit of exaggeration or a change in the truth or something to add to make it a little bit more interesting for the reader. Those are going to be legends. And so what I want you guys to do after this is I want you to click on this box right here, and you're going to watch this story that tells you a little bit more about legends and myths. It's so fun, and it'll give you a little bit more detail about how these stories are broken down. So make sure that you watch that, and we are fixing to hop down after you watch that to the next slide, and we're going to do practice together. See you soon.